So we're talking to Dr. Tom Godwin, and I asked you a question about what was your most favorite thing, and you brought up the compassion, you brought up the homosexuality and gay and so on. What's your next one that you think, Dr. Tom Godwin, author of A Doctor's Notes, what's your next thing that you would want to make sure the reader knows about?
Well, I was going to be a veterinarian to start with.
Well, I did go to veterinary college, Guelph, Ontario.
I was fortunate. I always had good marks, so I could even be a vet.
Yeah.
rather than a doctor. But anyway, I
as opposed to those guys who went to agricultural college. He's an Aggie. He's an Aggie. He's an Aggie. He regrets. He's an Aggie. He's an Aggie because he could be a vet. Something like that. Yeah. Keep on. Yeah.
but anyway, I wanted to. I was going to be a vet. And I have a chapter in my book about veterinarian medicine.
Oh, well, I've got to read this for sure, don't I?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, and I always had an interest in veterinarian medicine.
Yes.
So I wanted to compare veterinarian medicine with human medicine. And the vets have learned from us, and we have learned from the vets. And it's quite interesting.
Well, veterinary medicine, and I can speak, because as I say, I work for Health of Animals. I collected blood samples for years for Bang's disease, brucellosis abortus, and vaccinated calves for brucellosis abortus to travel. I've been on every farm in Manitoba and Saskatchewan at one time. Yeah. But you were talking about the gay part of life and that it's something there. Literally, every animal, cows, horses, they all have gay.
Yes, they do.
They do.
Yeah, it's sort of, because we used to raise a lot of cattle.
Bulling is how you tell whether the cow's ready to be artificially inseminated.
Oh, that's right, because the cow will stand.
That's right.
The cow won't keep moving ahead.
And when the one cow's standing, the other heifers or the other cows will come along and jump her.
All the other cows are around that one that's in heat. Yes.
And then they will take turns mounting her, and that bull just has to stand.
There's pheromones involved in that.
That's right. The bull just has to stand over there and take a look and see, when she's all ready, then he just saunters over and does it in a real natural herd.
Yeah, well, some of that's quite a bit different than human medicine, but a lot is the same, too, And I have some stories about delivering cattle.
Yes.
And delivering humans and comparing the two. And some of them...
well, with humans, you don't hook up the Fordson tractor
and haul that too,
and haul the calf out of the mother.
Every time the cow starts to push, take my foot off the clutch.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've been there.
And of course.
I've done that, yeah.
Yeah, I've done that many times. I remember asking my dad one time, how hard are you allowed to pull on these, the front legs of the calf? And he says, well, when the cow starts sliding on dry pavement, you're probably pulling hard enough.
And this, you can laugh, but this is what this is life on a farm.
But I got lots of amusing veterinarian stories.
Do you have the long-haired cattle out there? Is that?
No, the hippie cows. No.
Yeah, no, that's not you, eh?
Yeah, no, we don't. No, we started off with a mixed, black-white face, and then we went to Herefords, and then finally we ended up with Simmental.
Okay.
And I really like the Simmental because they're nice-looking animals. They put on weight very quickly, and they're fairly docile,
Yeah.
They're not as rambunctious, at least in my view. And the only big problem is, and this is a big problem, is some of the mothers were dropping 120-pound calves, and that's a little bit too big, So you have to do quite a few extractions.
Well, you have to be sure.
Got to hang around,
You have to be sure if you use the right bull for the right cow.
Oh, that's right. That makes a huge difference.
It just makes so much difference.
The genetics of the mother matters too,
Well, that's what I'm saying, the right bull for the right cow, because...
And they try to do that.
Because that's what see, we have another interest here. I went to Ontario Veterinary College.
Yeah.
I went to Madison University of Wisconsin in Madison to be trained as an artificial insemination technician. And we had a company called Canadian Herd Builders, and my uncle, Keith Robson, brought the first Charolais bull into Canada for that purpose. And we had Charolais and Simmental and Chianina, and my one uncle was the president of the Shorthorn Association, another uncle was the president of the Polled Hereford, another uncle was the president of the Hereford Association, all at the same time. The only cattle that my family didn't raise, we had Herefords, we had Jerseys, Guernseys, we had Shorthorn, Polled Shorthorn, Herefords. We never had Black Angus.
Black Angus.
Never had, but we had all the rest of them.
My dad had Black Angus, and my brothers and I used to hate them because in those days they had short legs, and my father had always these snake fences, you know, split rail fences. And those things would get their head underneath the rails and lift it up, and then they'd be out on Highway 50 again. Oh, no. Anyway, so I never really liked Black Angus. I notice Black Angus now they look like a regular cow. They don't have those short legs.
They seem to have bred higher, don't they?
What?
They seem to have bred higher.
Oh, yes, they have.
But then by out where
different
David,
body.
Yeah, on Zero Avenue. Well, have you seen the belted cattle at the end of
No.
in Richmond?
No, I don't think so.
If you go down to the end of what street is it in Richmond? Oh, come on, David, you know the name of the street.
Number what?
Well, it's not number. It's the name of a street. It's not. It's the name of one of the former mayors of Richmond, and the street's named after him. And as you get to the dike, the farm on the right-hand side, on the northeast side of the dike, has belted cattle. One of the 200 herds in North America.
Oh, is that right?
And it's right down, still in Richmond, still in the city of Richmond, and it's just a joy to see. And I know from talking to you now that you would love to see them.
Yeah.
And I had the honor of telling Bill Van der Zam that they were there one time, because the Dutchman didn't know that they were there.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a street. I'll remember in a second. So it's what's the name of where the boats are? Stevenson. That's Stevenson. That's the street. Yeah, the mayor was. That's why it's called that. Anyway, there's a whole herd of belted cattle, and they're a neat cow because they're the Dutch cow with the belt on them. But all the stuff veterinary medicine. So we got a deal on veterinary medicine here. I'm going to have to read that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another thing I've got in the book that's what doctors do in their spare time and what they really shouldn't be doing in their spare time because they're going to get themselves killed.
Oh, okay, I like this. Give me some examples.
Well,
you fly a homemade plane.
Yeah, well, I was even worse at one time. I used to fly ultralights.
I saw pictures of ultralights in you in here.
And then home built, and then of course I flew regular airplanes. But another bad thing is scuba diving.
Yes.
And I have a series of accidents that I was directly involved with, resulting from scuba diving. And the problem is, the doctor goes to work in the morning, and the nurses greet him, and they say, yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir, and then they go to the operating room, and the scrub nurse is very nice, and he's,
yes,
I think he's a bit of a god. And
yes.
then in the afternoon, the office secretaries are very nice after all. He's paying them. And then the patients are being told what they can eat and what they can't. So after a while, the doctor really does think he's a god. So when he takes up something like flying or scuba diving, what's this pilot sitting beside me? Gee, the kid's only 20, and he's telling me how to fly an airplane, So you can see how you can get yourself into trouble. And it's the same thing with scuba diving, and that's another sort of hobby issue.